Hi, welcome to Undead Yarn. My name is Heidi, and this is episode 85. Wow, 85. I can't believe it. Well, you can find me on Instagram as Undead Yarn and on Twitter as Undead Yarn, and on Ravelry I am Nitty Girl. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a good week. Next week here in Texas is the Dallas-Fort Worth Fiber Festival. And while I'm not vending, I am taking several classes, so I will be there from Thursday through Sunday. And if any of you see anything up in my Etsy shop that you would like me to bring to you, you could have free shipping. You wouldn't have to pay for shipping. So if you see anything in the shop that you would like me to bring to you, please PM me on Etsy, because that's the best place for me to keep track of what's going on. Anyway, I have only two things that I've been working on in the last week, and mostly I've been working on that garter stitch blanket that I put on Instagram. It was funny because usually at knitting group I'm always knitting socks, and this time I was knitting, and it's in my Hill Country Weavers bag because it's one of the only bags that will fit in now. I'm using a variety of yarns. I started off with some yarn that was like acrylic wool mix that I got at Joann's in the sale bin, so I don't even know what it was. And I thought I was going to use everything washable, but then I started putting stuff in and finding things to match, and they're not all washable, so I don't know. I guess I'll have to throw it in a big, huge, throw it in the sink and like squish it. I don't know. Or maybe in the bathtub. Wash it in the bathtub. So here's the bottom part, and then I used some Patton's Rumor, which I thought was machine washable, but it's not. And then when I found that out, I said, oh, well, forget it then. I'll just use whatever isn't the same weight that might not be too crazy off the colors. This is some Donegal Tweed Debbie Bliss that I got from Hill Country Weavers. And now I'm on this reddish stripes right here. This is Moda Dia Tweedledee. It's I've had it for a while. I was going to crochet a shawl with it, and I never used it. I thought, well, I'm probably not going to ever make that shawl now. So it kind of matches. So I'm just trying to make a big blanket. It's just garter stitch, no pattern. I don't even remember how many I cast on. I guess I could count across the row and find out. But I just cast on a lot of stitches and started going. And so that is where I am with this. I've put a lot of work into that because that's kind of all I've really had the brain for, because right now I'm busy dyeing for Yellow Rose Fiber Festival. And I have noticed that in the last, I guess this is year number 4 of having a business and a podcast, I don't have a lot of brain space left for lace or complicated projects. I used to knit a lot more different things, and since I've started my business, I notice I basically want to go for shawls and socks and things that don't need gauge, and and not often a lot of lace. So I did work on my Susanna IC shawl, and I wanted to show you guys because I started putting the beads in it. And where did that one go? I brought a whole bunch of stuff down. I have it all around me. I don't see it. It's in my Raven bag. Oh, it's down on the floor, so hold on. It's in my Raven bag by Silver Shed Studios. And she and Franciscan Gypsy and Lady Fernico have a kit out right now. If you look on my Instagram feed, I posted a picture of the kit. It's really cute. It's a chameleon. The pattern is a chameleon, and it's like a rainbow yarn, and a really cute bag with chameleon on it, and it says Fun on it, Phun, like for pinhook and needles. It's really cute. So if you are interested and you like to crochet toys, that would be something to look into. Anyway, it's in my bag, and I did finally get to the beads, and I have to say I am loving these beads. I don't I'm loving the beads. These are from earthfair.com. They're really beautiful. Look at that. You can see all the colors in them. And I finally started the lace section. I got through the short row section and now I'm on the lace section. Although I did forget to change needle size. And I think my stitch count might be off by 1 or 2. I'm going to have to count again. I never trust the first time I counted because it seems like the first time you could see I started putting the beads in. Let's see if I can show you the beads. It's like they're in little clusters so far. And I really like the way the yarn looks with the beads. I think they set each other off really nicely. So I'm finally to that part. This is the Corvita shawl by Susanna IC, and I'm going to keep going even though our knit along with Susanna IC will be finishing up. Today is the last day, so if you've been working on a project and you finish it up by tonight, you can post it in the thread. Because tomorrow will be April 1st, and that will start our next knit along, or next designer along, and that's going to be with Laura Smoot of Laura Smoot Designs. And I have 2 projects lined up. One of them I had started before and I just never finished because, again, it's lace. Takes more brain power than I always have after dyeing and being at work and taking care of business stuff. So anyway, this one is, let's see if I can remember. I think I wrote the name down. What is this one called? Oh, I didn't write down the name of it. I've showed it before. The yarn is by Miss Babs. Oh, Journey to Atlantis. And it was a pattern that she put out with one of Miss Babs' yarn clubs. You know, Miss Babs has a yarn club and then she has designers design some things to go with the yarn. And I believe this is a Yowza What a Skein. Let's see if I have the dye lot name in here. Oh, I think I actually have the tag in here. Good. This is a Babette. It is a Yowza, and it is called Coffee Break. And I really think the colors are gorgeous. Let me see if I can show you the skein. It's a huge skein of yarn, so it's kind of, you can see I had to take it off the ball winder. It got so big. But it's got some lovely browns and golds and greens and blues. It's just got a little bit of everything in there. It's hard for me to show you the design because, of course, it's lace, but it is very pretty, and I think it's going to look great once I block it out. Yeah, you can kind of see it, and the colors look true to life. It's going to be a beautiful shawl. So I have that in my Casey's Pocket to Go bag. This is this was one I got, I think at Stitches Texas. The first year they had Stitches Texas. She and some other people had a kit, and I just thought the little horseshoes for Texas were cute. So that is one Laura Smoot project I have going, and then I have another one that I'm going to do, and I just got the pattern a couple of weeks ago. They're called, oh, I did write it down. It's called the Seacoast Mitts, and I have that in my Knitting Rose bag by Erin Lane Bags. Very cute. And I'm actually going to use Knitting Rose yarn. I had started using this on another pattern and it didn't work out, but these are going to be some more mitts for my husband. And this is called Cherry Cordial from Knitting Rose Yarns. And it is bison and superwash wool. And here's the color. That looks perfect. That's exactly what it looks like. And I'm going to make him fingerless mitts with this because the other mittens I made him, they fit him, but barely. And I made those out of hand spun. So they're pretty special mitts. I might have to steal them sometime. But anyway, this goes up. The nice thing is that Laura did sizes all the way up to extra large. So these are bound to fit him. Because he's not a big guy, but he's very tall. So he's long and he's got long feet. He's got like size 13 feet and, you know, long hands. And so a large didn't a large mitten size didn't fit. Okay, so anyway, weeks in review. Well, I went to South by Southwest for one day with my husband, and we had the best time. It was just a beautiful day outside. We stopped in at the there was an Australia barbecue. They usually have one every year. Saw a couple bands there. And then we went to the British Embassy, which is always my favorite. And we saw some really great bands there. I saw this band called Fizzy Blood. They were so funny. And there were 2 other bands after them, and they were all just excellent. So we had a perfect day, because sometimes you go and maybe one of the bands is good and the other ones you don't really like, but they were all excellent, and so it was a lot of fun. And then I also had knitting group on Saturday. Yeah, on Saturday we had knitting group, and that's when I had that big huge blanket and everybody was surprised. So it was funny because the person who usually knits blankets was knitting socks, and I was knitting a blanket. So that was kind of nice. It was fun to visit with everyone. I already told you guys I'm going to be at Dallas-Fort Worth Fiber Festival next week. I'm taking 3 classes, so I will be spending a lot of time in classes. I think there's a podcaster meetup. I don't know if I'm going to go to it. Usually it's people podcasters sitting around talking. So I don't know. If I have time, maybe I'll go to that. It's not set in stone at this point. I did mention that today's the last day to get your FOs in for Susanna IC. And I will pull for the winners on the 14th of April when I do my next podcast. I did pull for a winner for the Laura Smoot design. And this is a lucky lady, Miss Purple Ducks on Ravelry. You won again. You won... Her name is Penny Yeager, and she is part of the dyeing team of Brazen Stitchery. She said that she wanted to knit Laura's Despicable socks, so I will go ahead and let Susanna know that you are, or not Susanna. I was texting Susanna earlier. I will let Laura Smoot know that you are the winner, so she can gift you the pattern. And hopefully we'll try to knit some of those socks during this time. I don't know if that's enough time to knit colorwork socks. I have not attempted those before. But that, and also the Peeps pattern that I have, that I dyed the yarn for, that Laura did the design for. If you have one of those kits, this would be the perfect time to knit it, because you could be eligible for prizes for the designer along for Laura Smoot, which is going to be in the months of April and May. So if you have that kit, or if you even got the other kit that I did with her, the one for I want to say Night Fever. I know it's not called, Night Fright. For the Night Fright socks, if you want to knit that, this is a perfect time to knit that. So you can be eligible for prizes and you can get your socks finished. So those are the things that are going on. Oh, I wanted to say that you should go check out Laura's designs. She has several designs. I have several of her shawls I'm very excited about knitting. And she has a variety of designs. She has designed for Miss Babs. She has also a few pattern collections. So I would go and check those out. And then as well as she has a lot of individual patterns. But she does have some pattern collections that look interesting to me, because some of them are Game of Thrones themed. That looks pretty cool. And I believe she's been in a publication or 2 as well. So go check out her feed, and if you knit something from her during the next 2 months, you can be eligible for prizes. One of the prizes will be the Peeps bag that I showed last podcast that I got from Silvershed Designs. And then I also have a bag that I got from Erica Schmerica, and it is really cute. It's a bat one. And if we get enough people, if we get 20 or more entries, I will go ahead and dye up some yarn to go with those 2 kits. And I believe I have to check with some other people about if there'll be some other prizes. But we do have 2 nice big prizes for people who knit Laura Smoot designs. And it's funny, I thought this was going to be, I was going to have more to talk about. Oh, I do. I have not shown you what I got this week. You'd think because I have a fiber festival coming up, I wouldn't be getting things, but I mostly buy from indie dyers. So most of the time, most of my purchases are online. I do occasionally go to a yarn store, but mostly I buy from fiber festivals and from online people. This I just had to have because I think it's just beautiful. I'm not sure how they did this. I don't know if it was dyed and then spun, or I really am not sure how they got it to look barber pulled like this. But this is Brenda and Heather Yarns, I believe, dyed this, and it is from Dyed in the Wool, and I've shown you her stuff before. She has a lot of breed specific wool, and they have decided to start trying to sell some yarn instead of just fiber. They've been getting fiber from different farms, and this one, I guess they got enough of it that they were able to dye it up and sell it, and I'm really excited to knit that. It just looks amazingly beautiful. I believe Benita has knit a hat with this. She's a Fiber Pusher on Instagram, and she has the Fiber Pusher podcast. So if you want to see what it looks like, but look at that. That is so cool. I don't know how they did that. It looks to me like it was dyed and then spun, but I'm not sure if that's how they did that. But it's beautiful. And it's 100% wool. It says rustic rainbow. I forget what kind of wool it is, but it's not merino. I remember that. And it's from the sheep. It says the sheep lives in Kentucky. And then I also saw my friend Lady Fernico, who is Marlicia from the Penhook and Needles podcast, put out a color for Plum Deluxe. And while I'm not a big, huge fan of Plum Deluxe, I'm more of a David's Tea fan. I just love the way this colorway was knitting up. Her daughter, Talia, has been knitting socks with this color. And it spirals. It's spiral stripes with the orange and the purple. And I just love that effect. So I had to have some. And this one, I asked her to dye it for me on a 75-25 because she didn't have anything in her shop that had nylon in it. And when I knit socks, I really want nylon in my socks. So I asked her if she could dye that up for me. And then I had some other fall downs. I've been watching this dyer's stuff for a long time. At first I was attracted to the name because it's witch candy. So of course, kind of horror related. But then when I started looking at her shop, she does some really, really cool colors. Very vibrant. This is as beautiful in person as it looks on the screen. Look at that purple. And I am very excited to knit with this. Look, and on the other side, it's just beautiful. And this one, it's called Bustin' Outta Bushwhack. Or Bushwick, I'm not sure what that means, but maybe one of you guys knows. And it's 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards. So this will probably be socks. It could go in a shawl, but I'm actually really curious about how this is going to knit up. So we'll see. And then there's been a few free patterns that have been put out by not Blacker Yarns. Is it Blacker Yarns? Yes, it is. They put out a couple of patterns in this new yarn they had. And I fell in love with this shawl pattern that they have. It's looks like a pretty big shawl, and I like big shawls. And it looks really simple, except there's a little bit of lace detail in the back. And then the edging is a different color. And I was looking to maybe buy 2 of this yarn, but then when I saw the price, I thought, no, I'll just get 1. But it does have a lot of yardage. And I have so much yarn, I'm sure I can find a pattern, some kind of blend, even if it's not the same blend, that will mix in with it. And it says it's 20% silk and 80% pure new wool. I don't really know why they don't do it. I wish they did. If you look on their website, you can see all the different kinds of wool that go into their yarns, and that's what draws a lot of us in, is to try something different. So I really wanted to try this because a big part of it was the pattern, right? Then I saw that it had silk in it, and then when I saw the other different kinds of sheep, I was like, oh, that sounds really, really interesting. And I just got it a couple of days ago, and I bought it from the Woolly Thistle, and she is in New Hampshire. She does the New Hampshire Knits podcast. And if you want to buy some of the British wool that's becoming very popular, you can buy it from her and you don't have to pay overseas shipping. And here is the color I got. Now this is not showing up as pretty as it is. It's more of a golden yellow. This is kind of looking like a blown out yellow. But it's a very golden yellow, and it's got tints. Probably, I'm guessing it initially was not an ecru because it looks heathered. So I'm guessing this probably was either grayish or brownish before they dyed it. But it's just lovely. It's a heathered gold, and I love it. It's going to be gorgeous in that shawl. I wish I didn't write down the name of the shawl, but it's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's in the Hot Right Now section. So if you go look, it's just a triangular shawl, but it has a little lace section right in the back. It's kind of fun. And then the edging is lace, and it's knit all in one color, and then the edging is a different color. And I believe if you look for the shawl, it's a maroon color, and it's got a gold edging, something like this. So those are my purchases, and I know I will make more purchases. I'm going to have to be more restrained, though, than I have in the past. I don't have to be, actually, but I've been looking at my yarn stash, and it's kind of out of control. So I need to be more thoughtful, I think, in my purchases from now on. I'm going to look at what I have, and there are certain people that live in the area that I have quite a few of their skeins of yarn, and I have not knit them up yet, so I may not be buying from them this time, but yeah, I'm gonna have to be more picky and choosy about what I get this time. But I am looking forward to Dallas Fort Worth Fiber Festival, and if you guys are there, come up and say hello. I'd love to meet you. And like I said, if you see anything on my Etsy shop that you would like me to bring to Dallas, so that you don't have to pay shipping, you could just pay me for the yarn, let me know on Etsy. And with that, I will say, get busy knitting or get busy dyeing.